This video is going to show you how to use the debugger in BlueJ. We're going to play with it with a triangle class. So let me just open that. First thing you want to do is make sure that your line numbers are showing here. You need line numbers in order for the debugger for you to be able to set stop points for the debugger, and that would be under preferences and then just display line numbers. Make sure that's checked so you can work with the debugger. So my triangle class has 6 variables for 3 points. Each point has an x and a y coordinate. So we have the 3 points of a triangle, ABC. The constructor sets them all to 0. Then we have setters to set each point. We have the get AB, BC, CA, which is just the formula to compute the length of a side. And then the perimeter calls the length of each side and adds them together to return the perimeter of the triangle. Now I've written a little main here. There is a logic error in my code, so even though it does compile, I'm not getting the answers that I should be getting. And we can use the debugger to help us figure out what's going on here. So I've constructed a typical 3, 4, 5 triangle. We have a length 3, a length 4, and then the hypotenuse would be 5. So I've written out what my lengths should be, and you can draw that triangle out if you need to help you see the lengths. I should have a 3, 4, 5 length and then a perimeter of 12, but when I run this, I'm getting the wrong answer for a couple of the sides, and then of course the perimeter would be wrong too. So I'm looking at AB is correct, but the length of BC is wrong and the length of CA is wrong. So as a programmer, you can go back and you can start looking at code and trying to figure out what's going on, but today we're going to use the debugger to see what's going on. This line of code is returning the right answer, but this line is not. So I'm going to put a stop point on this line, and I'm going to rerun the code, and you'll see what happens here. So what happens is the output that got printed before my stop point shows up in my console, but then my debugger console shows up. And let's get these side by side here. So you can see that the arrow here will show you what line of code is about to be executed, and then you can also see the values of the variables that are important. For this particular line, there's a method call here. I have some options here on what I can click. Terminate, of course, will end the program. Continue would be running, would tell the debugger to run all lines until my next stop point. Step runs the lines and steps right over it to the next line. Step into you use if you have a method that you want to step into so you can run through each of those lines of code and see what's going on. We know this method isn't working, so I want to step into that method and then just take a look at what's going on. So my execution point has gone up into this method, and it's about to execute all of this math for me. So first thing I would do as a programmer is I would take a look at my variables to make sure they're what they're supposed to be. So I look at my A, my B, and my C points, and I can see I have a problem. I have my 0, 0 point, I have my 0, 3 point, but then my 4, 0 point is also 0, 0, so there's a big problem here. So it's not inside this math because we can see that this math is not getting the right data to run on. So let's terminate. We'll go back to our code and we'll look at where we're setting our points. So we either have a problem, well the 0, 3 point we saw was there and it was there fine. The 0, 0 was there and it was there fine. Let's change our breakpoint to this guy where we're setting our 4, 0. There must be something wrong there. So let me click back to run this. And now you'll see execution stopped at this line. It's a method. So we want to do a step into, and we can see what's going on here. So our 0, 0 got set fine, our 0, 3 got set fine. We're about to set our XC and our YC. So let's step through this line of code, and we can see the XC got set to 4, 0, and we can see right away where the problem is. I have a typo here in my code. This is going to reset the 4 right back to 0 on me. This should be YC. So you'll see over here when I do another step, I've lost my 4, it's gone back to 0. So let's terminate and fix this code. each of my sets should be setting an X and a Y, and I have a typo here, and I'm setting both of my X's to my XY values. So let's compile. And since we think we have found the problem, let's run it all the way through, and without setting a breakpoint, and to see if we have the right answer or not. Oh, where'd my console go? Here it is. Okay, so you can see now we've fixed our code. So instead of staring at the code, which can be very frustrating to try to find those little typos, the debugger is very powerful. You can use what's right so far to sort of guide you as to where you should start with your breakpoints and work backwards and set up other breakpoints, watch those variables, and then you can quickly and easily figure out what's wrong with your code.